I'm gonna go ahead and start. So, hey everyone, it's Monique Garcia here, and this is our very first podcast setup where I am inviting a special guest to be here with us today. So, you guys know who I am, but I'll give you an intro for all of those who don't know who I am. I am the owner of Brow Aesthetics, and we are a permanent makeup studio and training academy here in Northborough, Massachusetts. And I am here with Briana Arnold, and she is the owner of Serendipity Skin and Brow,
yes.
Right?
Yes.
And Bree also is one of my past students. So I invited her here today so that we can just chat. And we are going to do a little bit of a deep dive into Bree's story and just get to know her a little bit more. So, welcome.
Thank you for having me. I am so excited to share my story.
Yeah. So, it was probably a couple months ago that I told you about this idea.
Yes, it was why I was getting my brows done by you in May.
Okay.
As I was laying on the table.
Yep. Okay. Yes, and I realized, and I was like, you know what? I wanna do just like I just wanted to have a conversation with a student.
Yeah.
You know? And I just thought that you would be great for it. So.
Well, thank you. I'm honored.
Yeah.
I'm so happy to be here.
So, Bree, let's start with you telling us a little bit about let's start with, your story from the beginning. Let's start from the beginning.
From the beginning.
From the beginning. So we can probably start with what you were doing before you got into eyebrows.
Yeah. So it's been a journey to get where I am now, and my story involves a lot of different pieces and different career paths, we'll say, and jobs, but it's allowed me to reflect over the past 10 or so years on what really makes me happy and what I really enjoy. So to give you guys an idea who are listening, if you're wondering what this is for, I have been a personal trainer, I have been an interior painter, I have been in the finance field, and I have been in management for Lululemon, for I was in there for about 3 years. And so I've had a lot of different roles, and what I've learned about myself is I love working with people. Mm-hmm. I love to be in a room and not behind a screen. I'm very creative. I have a very creative family. I am artistic in my background. I love a good before and after and a transformation. I'm all about like the DIY projects. And so anything that's artistic, like interior painting, it was so therapeutic. I could work a 10-hour day and be like, I am so zen. So I really love that. And I've also had a big part of this, a love for skincare products since like American Girl doll products were launched. Like when I was yay big, they came out with a skincare line. And so over the past about 6 years or so, I have been partnered with a skincare brand, and I've fallen in love with working with people, working with their skin, self-care, and I've kind of combined all of those things that I've fallen in love with into Serendipity Skin and Brow. And that's like the long story short of how I kind of got to where I am.
Okay. So right before taking your brow training, what were you doing right before?
So right before brow training, I was actually in school for aesthetics, and I was also working at a local spa in my hometown. I was introduced to brows. Like 3 or so years ago. The company that I am affiliated with, they launched a brow product. Now, being in my 20s, I've never really paid attention to my brows. I always had decent brows, didn't think much of it, but I was like, okay, I'll be a good consultant. I'll order the product, try it out. And I remember being in the bathroom, and I put it on one brow, and I was like, wow, like this just, my face is complete. It showcased my expressions better, so I put on both brows. And then I walked out of the bathroom, and my partner at the time was like, something's different. Like, he was looking at me. And so then I started looking at everybody's brows. And it did a couple things. My sales went up. Everybody loved their brows. But I also had a demographic of people that didn't love the product. And they didn't love the product because the product had to go on brow hair. And these clients of mine, they didn't have the brow hair to put it on. So I started looking into like a solution of, well, what are those people doing, you know, if this product isn't working for them. And so I learned about microblading, and I think that's the big word that everybody thinks about when they hear about permanent makeup. And penciling of the brows, like people penciled it in, but then it wipes off, it washes away, it smudges and whatnot. So right before my brow course, I was back home. I was fully focused on my aesthetics license, pursuing that. And I actually, in the aesthetics world, it's smaller than you think, followed Megan, who is one of your team members. And so I was watching her story and I was following along and I was like, oh, she's doing aesthetic school and she's doing this training. And like, this is what I can offer my local clients who can't use the brow gel. So I reached out to her and I started asking questions. And, you know, I don't think she was working for you at the time. I think she was still in the training. And so I was getting her experience, and you were a town over with brow aesthetics. So I was like, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to offer. It combines my artistic side with the skin, and I get to provide people with confidence in their brows, which is awesome.
Okay. And so what drove you to study aesthetics?
So my love for skin,
Yeah.
So about 6 or 7 years ago, I was still in college and I was just suffering from really dry skin. And I went to school for movement science. I was staying hydrated. I was taking care of my body. I was doing all the things. And I was just could not get a handle on like these really dry, itchy, irritated patches. So I just got into skincare products and trying to figure out what worked for me, and found a solution. But not only did I find a solution to my skin, I felt so much better when I had good skin. Like when I had good skin and it was clear and it didn't hurt to smile because it was so dry, like I just felt better. So I learned how to then share what I loved with other people. And it's so much more than sharing the products. Like my fulfillment comes from my clients texting me going, oh my God, my skin is like the best it's ever been. Like my husband noticed my skin, my kids noticed my skin. Like I just feel better about myself. So I got into skin and I was like, what can I do to take this to the next level? And I've always loved getting facials. I mean, who doesn't love laying on a table getting their face rubbed? So I was like, let's take, sharing my skincare journey to the next level. So I went into aesthetics to be able to directly help people one-on-one with their skin and provide that holistic experience. I want people to come in on my table and zen out for an hour to an hour and a half and forget about life, take a nice nap, and wake up with glowing skin and just give back positive energy to them.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah. Oh, that's so sweet. Okay. So you've had a couple of different jobs, but then decided that you wanted to study aesthetics, right? So did that simultaneously, was it at the same time that you
did
then took an eyebrow course at that time, right?
Yes.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about the course. You signed up because you saw that someone else nearby that you knew was already taking the course. So it kind of... Yeah, you wanted to kind of look into whatever she was doing, which is Megan.
Yeah.
Thank
you, Megan.
Yeah, shout out to Megan. Megan is a member of our team.
Yeah, she is awesome.
And she's amazing. Yeah, she's amazing. And so it helped because you had someone that you were familiar with who was already doing it.
Yeah.
So it's always nice when you hear of someone that you know that's doing something. It's almost like a referral.
I was going to say, I encourage people to do this with like anything from buying a dishwasher to, whatever, like find
someone.
a reference, reference who isn't the direct source, and especially somebody who is, put their hard-earned money into something, because they're going to tell you their honest, thoughts and feedback on something. And Megan had nothing but positive things to say. And she gave me the lowdown on like how the course worked and the hands-on that you got with it and the follow-up. And, so I'm a very hands-on person, and I knew I wanted like a model to myself in that course. I knew I wanted to not just like go to a course and then walk away. I wanted continuing education, and I wanted kind of somebody local that I knew I could kind of partner up with when I still had questions after the fact.
All super important things. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
All of those things are so super important. So, so you took a course with me, and when was it? Do you remember?
This is July of last year, July 2022.
1 year ago.
1 year ago, almost to the day. Like two.
What?
I know. It's great. Actually, it was literally, I think it was July 22nd. Like it's almost a year to the day.
And today is July 25th.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a year ago. So happy 1 year anniversary.
I know. A lot's happened.
1 year. A lot has happened in a year. Okay. So 1 year ago, you took my course, and it was. Did you study? You did in person.
I did an in-person 2-day one-on-one powder brow course, and I did that for a couple reasons. A, my schedule was crazy between working and being in school, and then trying to just be a partner. So I knew I needed to kind of tweak the flexibility of the availability. And then I really wanted to be able to do one whole model to myself. And that was just a personal preference. I can stand behind your courses where you have multiple people. That's totally fine. I just know for me personally, I wanted one person myself. I just need that one-on-one attention for something that I was like, I'm tattooing somebody's face. I had this moment of panic that I was like, I am tattooing somebody's face. So I just needed that peace of mind, me, you, and that model. And that was the only, people in the space.
And you were coming into this without any experience, right? This is
my first course. Yes. Yeah. So I had spoken to other members of the aesthetic community who have taken other courses and kind of heard their results with things, their thoughts on things, and looked into your course. And then after speaking to Megan, decided it was the best option. And from hearing their experience and then my experience, I think it's completely different. Yeah. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. All right. So 1 year ago, you came in, you took an in-person course. You did a model, and then afterwards you completed the online curriculum.
Yeah.
So how was that?
So that was perfect for my lifestyle of fitting into the nooks and crannies. And I remember you saying to me in the training, you're like, have a space set up so you can just pick up your machine and practice for 15 minutes, 30 minutes here and there. And I took over my mom's office. She was not too happy. And I was like, this is my space. There's tattoo ink. I'm sorry. There's a machine. There's towels. There's wipes. It's just, you're going to have to live with it. And she did. Thank you, Mom. And so
shout out to
Mom. Yeah. So I picked away at it when I could. And I worked my way through the levels. And I watched videos. And I was I follow along with your social media and other social medias, and I'm zooming in on pictures, and I just kind of analyzed everything. But I knew that it was something that I wanted to, continue working on. Once I got my certificate of completion, I wanted to pursue it beyond that.
Good. That's good.
Yeah.
That's how you become a good artist. Takes, because people always say the market is oversaturated, and I always say it's not oversaturated with people who are doing it well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody has their niche as an artist, and everybody has their own following. So if you really want to make something of it, you can. You just have to put in the work. There's work involved. There is effort, but you can make it happen.
Definitely. Yeah. I don't believe in that oversaturated argument, because it just seems like most times it's probably an excuse, but this industry is growing. Definitely. It is. But with that, more and more people are actually becoming interested in it as a result
Yes.
of it growing. So there's always room for someone who is going to do it in an authentic way, who is going to be authentic to themselves, create that niche that you mentioned, but also just do it at a high level, do it well.
Yeah.
You know, there's always room for one more artist who is willing to do things well. We don't tell ourselves like, oh, there's too many estheticians, don't study that.
Nope.
Or there's too many hairstylists, don't go into that. It's like, no, actually, I don't think that there could ever be too many hairstylists. Because imagine there's billions of people in the world, right?
And we all have hair, pretty much. Yeah.
Billions of us. There's no way that, 10, even 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000 artists could possibly do everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, so it just is, if you're authentic, willing to put in the work, that's key.
Yeah.
Willing to put in the work is the key.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's definitely not an overnight success, as I think many make it out to be watching in the industry. There's success to be had if you want to have it.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. If you go for it, you will have it. As long as you don't give up.
Yes.
That's key.
Persevere through.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, so you then opened your own studio, right?
Yes.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about that. How did you get started with your studio? How did you get your first clients?
So, let's see. We'll start with the first client. So, my first model through your course, I didn't know it was through your course, but my first model beyond when I was doing my 2 to complete, I knew personally. So I reached out via Facebook, gotta love social media, and I just put out like a post like looking for free eyebrow model, this is what I'm doing, this would be the location, and one of my old bosses, she actually signed out, she was the first one, and then one of my partners in the skincare industry that I'm in, she was my second one. And from there, they've already sent me referrals, and referrals are huge. So that kind of was like how the clients got started. In terms of the studio, it was around the time that I was wrapping up my completion of doing all my models and finishing the course fully that a little space became available in Northborough. And I don't know if you told me or Megan told me or I found out on a Facebook page, somehow this space became available. It had a plumbed-in sink, which is huge, and there was 2 other girls who were also graduates of brow aesthetics that were interested in starting their business but wanted low overhead. And it was literally serendipitous. Like, it all worked out that the 3 of us, we just met up. Our schedules aligned in that they didn't align, so we could share the room. We all have 2 days at the studio. We have a Google Calendar, so we know who's there when. We shared, a couple of the essential things like the table, the trays, the like little things in the room, and then we just all have like makeup totes that we keep our personal items in, from our pigments to our machines to tweezers and whatnot, and we just roll in our carts when we're there in the studio. We set up, and then we clean it for the next person. So it really just worked out. I highly encourage people to just be connected in your community, to be a part of the local Facebook groups, be a part of the local Instagram pages, because you never know who else is out there that doesn't want to commit to $1,000 a month rent, but wants to do, something and launch their business and get started.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree. I think it's so important to collaborate.
It's so important.
Yeah. When you're first starting off, you want to keep the overhead low.
Yes.
Right? You don't want to be stressed out or worried about paying the rent when you're starting a business.
Yeah.
Okay?
We all said, we're like, if we have 1 client a month, we'll pay the rent, we'll keep the lights on, literally. And, but just getting started, that was what we needed.
Yeah.
And, everybody has a launching point.
That's right.
Yeah.
And some people tend to look ahead and it's okay to have a goal of where you want to be,
Yeah.
but you have to understand that you have to take the first step to get there.
It's
you know?
not a glamorous, huge studio. It literally fits a bed, our sink, and what we need, the essentials, but it does the job. And it's a cute space. I put some fresh paint on it. It's got a beautiful stone wall. Like, we've just made it ours. It does the job.
And that's all you need.
And that's all we need.
That's all you need until you outgrow that. And eventually you will outgrow the space, but it's not something you get started with what you need.
Yep.
And that's it.
The
basics.
The basics.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. A room, a sink, a bed, your supplies, done.
Yep. That's all we have. It keeps it easy.
Yeah. So how was the process with licensure? After that, you had to. So you took the course, you became certified, you did your models, you rented a space, right?
Yeah.
All of this happened within a year.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you said you got your first clients from social media. From posting on your own private Facebook account?
Yeah, so I post on my personal Facebook, I post on my personal Instagram. I created a business Instagram once I officially rented the space to get everything up and running. And then I post we have a lot of local community pages that allow you to do business posts, like either on Mondays or Tuesdays. And I just kind of have like a little agenda calendar, and I'm like, okay, I can post in this group on Monday, I can post in this group on Tuesday. And I do that, and I share my page, and I share, some before and after photos and what I do. And it's been,
so Facebook groups are good for you.
Facebook groups are good for me. Yeah. Word of mouth is good for me. Referrals are good for me. I'm well connected in my town. I've been in my town for a while. So that definitely helps. But I've also had clients that I don't personally know that have just come to me from referrals, which is awesome.
Yeah. The importance of referrals.
Yeah.
Every single person that comes into the studio, we have to treat like gold.
Yeah.
Because they are.
They could send you 10 other people.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah. And that is the best way to build business. Like we said in the beginning, you want to find someone who's already experienced it and see what they thought of it, right? Like how you did with Megan in the course.
Yeah.
And if they can see a post on a Facebook group, but if they know someone that's been to you, it's a game changer.
Yeah.
It's a game changer, really.
Yeah.
So that's so important. Referrals are huge. But I'm glad that you're using Facebook groups, because I feel like people don't use those enough.
Yeah, they are really, there's people that are active in there that are looking for something. I mean, I look at other people's posts and they're looking for references on plumbers and electricians, and why not a permanent makeup artist?
Always looking for everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I go to Facebook for most things now.
Yeah.
I always put in the search of a group when I'm looking for anything. Like, I'm in the market for a car right now, and I'm looking to see what other people have to say about different cars that they have. And so I use it for everything. Restaurants, or like date night ideas.
It's really a powerful resource if you just use it the right way. It can be a very powerful tool. Yeah.
It is. One of the things that I realized that's so important about the Facebook groups is to go in, but also be active in the group as a resource.
Yeah, as a community member. So I do post if people are looking for references. I happen to know a lot of people doing a lot of different things in my community, and I'm happy to share, my thoughts. So people will see my name pop up for restaurant recommendations, for a nail salon.
That's important.
I will pop all my opinions and ideas in there. So
you are a community member of the group.
Yes.
Because when you go in only selling, what happens is people put up a wall, and it doesn't look good.
Yep.
So I always tell people, be helpful first.
Yeah.
Be helpful to people, and then they're going to start to see your name come up more and more. And then they're going to take a look at what you have to offer as well. They might just click on your page because they see that you're making a lot of referrals and that you're active in the group, and they'll just click on your page and they'll say, oh wow, she does eyebrows here in Northborough and Westborough. So you have 2 locations.
I do. So my location in Northborough is strictly for brows, and that is because of the legality behind a brow studio. That if you are tattooing or piercing in a room, you can't do anything beyond that. My studio in Westboro will be aesthetics. It's coming soon, hopefully in a few weeks, and that will be, because I'm a licensed esthetician, my facials, waxing, and like lash lifts and tints.
Okay.
So same business, just one's Serendipity Brow, one's Serendipity Skin. And together they make Serendipity Skin and Brow.
Beautiful. I love it. I love it. And so you created your logo and everything yourself?
I did. I had my logo created years ago. So I knew that I was living outside of DC, and when I was working with Lululemon, they're really big on self-development, and I was surrounded by an awesome community of people that just push you to be the best version of yourself and find out really what you're passionate about. And so this is kind of a holdover job while my partner was going to University of Maryland. And so in that time frame, that's when I discovered like licensed esthetician. That was my goal. And I got really excited about it, and I set big goals. And Canva, like you can do anything on Canva. I created my logo, and I set it as my screensaver on my iPad. And so I stared at it every day when I opened up my iPad. And when I started aesthetics school, on day one, they have you write down like, what is your goal? Like, where will you be when you get your license? And I said, Serendipity Skin and Brow is in your real near future. And lo and behold, within a year, I opened my own business.
The power of manifestation.
Yes.
And believing in yourself.
Yes. I knew it was going to happen. I didn't know the exact timeline, but everything kind of just fell into place. And when your gut is telling you, like, say yes to something, I just like hone in on that. Like whenever this room was available, I was like, yes. And like the two people that I partnered with, it just all worked out. Like it just is the right avenue. And the same goes for my skincare studio. When I saw the space, it just was like everything was right about it. And I just went with it and just said yes.
Amazing. All right, so let's jump into a little bit about the brows. Are you comfortable now in doing eyebrows?
Yes.
Yeah. Good.
So I would say, and everybody is going to be different, and everybody's going to be on their own path and their own journey and time frame. My first model we did after lunch, and I was sweating. I was so nervous, but I was wearing black, and I was like, it's fine. And after that session, I just...
Were your hands shaking?
They weren't shaky, but they were sweaty.
Okay.
They were sweaty for sure. And I remember like touching the skin for the first time, and like within like 3 minutes, I was like, okay, you can relax. And like you were right by my side, and that was awesome. And then I had almost the same feeling when I did my second model, because it was a supervised session, so it was like all on me. But Megan was there to support as needed, and the supervised sessions were a game changer. They were, I cannot recommend those enough. But by my second model, like I already knew, like every client you take, every model you take, you're gaining something from it. And really what it is it's just like trust the process. There's a process to it. There is like having that conversation, setting up the expectations of the clients of their brow structure, their bone structure, the color consult. From mapping, there's a process to how we map and tweaking and stuff. So you just have to, you literally have to trust the process. And so I'm so much more comfortable. Like now I have no problem having a client walk in and just looking at their brows and, going from there, and not pre-worrying or anything, or trying to pre-pick colors or anything like that. There will be things here and there that I'll reach out to Megan or to you or to the Facebook page and ask, but I feel confident in trusting myself that I'm able to provide for my clients and have them leave with great brows.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Sometimes everyone's different. Sometimes it takes people a little bit longer to get comfortable. Sometimes they're comfortable right away. So it can be different. But I'm so glad. And so you perform what technique?
I do powder brow only.
So tell us a little bit about what powder brows are, because some people are watching this for the first time and some people may not even know.
Yeah. So powder brows are they're still permanent makeup and they're used with a machine. So the machine creates little pixelations in the skin to implant the pigment to give that soft powder look. It differs from microblading, where microblading is a stroke technique and uses a hand tool more often than not to create hair strokes. And what I've learned over the years is, because when I got into looking at brows years ago, that there was a lot of bad permanent makeup out there. Yeah. And I knew like there must be a solution to this, and I wanted to help people and be like the person in the local community that people go to so they wouldn't get bad brows. And so that's where powder brow came into the mix. And I learned about the powder brow more so. I like the look of it for me personally, but powder brow is, you have more candidates who are qualified for powder brow. So I can offer it to more members of the community, because microblading, I love microblading and it looks great and it's made for the right person, but not everybody's really a candidate for microblading. So I wanted something that I could kind of harness my focus on and be able to offer to more people.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And it's true, because more people are candidates for machine work than they are for the manual microblading. So I think that it's a good way to start your career, because you don't have to turn people away.
Right.
When they're coming to you.
Yeah.
And so that's important.
I'm happy if somebody comes to me who wants microblading and they're a candidate. I know I have a good pool of resources that I can send them elsewhere, and I'm okay with that. And they'll trust me enough to send me another referral for powder brows down the way, because they allowed me to tell them what's right for their skin and what they can get.
It's practicing with integrity.
Yes.
And that's important.
Yes.
Yeah, we need to do more of that in the industry for sure. Alrighty, so let me see what other questions I have for you. I know we talked about how you got your first clients. And so let's move into, so now we know, okay, so you're doing eyebrows now. How much are you charging for your brows?
So my introductory rate was $350 for the initial session and $150 for the touch-up. I am transitioning out of my introductory rate to $399 for the first session, $150 for the touch-up in the next month. And I will stick with those prices until I feel comfortable raising them, reevaluate. I do 6-month, 1-year evaluations to see where I'm at, see where my work's at, see where my client intake is at, where is my business at, and kind of what's the going rate in the area too, because that's a factor as well.
It is. Okay. I think that's a good price point to start. I always tell people never be the cheapest in town. And when you start, but you also don't want to be the most expensive when you're starting either.
Right.
So you want to be somewhere in the middle.
And I don't discount. I don't do promos. I made an investment. It's my time. It's, the value is there. So that's important to know too. We also don't discount our eyebrows because of that reason. The value is there. And you don't want to ever make it seem like it's not. Exactly.
And you don't want to downplay yourself either. And you are doing things at a high level. You put the time in, you put the money, you've invested your money in. I'm wondering, have you made back your investment on the course?
On the course, yes. So I'm trying to remember.
I don't even remember how much
I know
it is. But I would assume that a year in,
I think it was about $4,000 I paid maybe for the private.
For a 2-day private?
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds about right.
I think it was about $4,000.
So have you made your investment back?
I have.
Okay, that's good.
Yep. So in my I opened in April. I opened the last week, so I opened in April. It was open for 2 days, but I did have 2 clients that day, or that week, and then I did about $2,000 in revenue my second month in business.
Amazing.
And and then I've been consistently hitting $1,000 in revenue. And we are in summer. We're in the slow season, and a lot of my conversations. As I'm doing consultations, people are going on a beach vacation in a week or so.
Summertime's tough.
Summertime's tough. There's a lot of people that aren't in the area. They're in their second home. And I also want to make sure that they don't go lay on a beach right after they're getting their brows done. You know, I want to educate them on, you know, the healing process is really what 80% of your results is going to be if you take care of, you know, your brows and stuff. So
you've just opened. So you said you opened in April?
Yeah, the last week of April 24th.
So you've only been open for 3 months? Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah, May, June, and July for full months.
Okay. Yeah, so you've only not even 3 full months yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so almost 3 months, but not quite yet.
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is really good.
Yeah, there's potential. The income potential is there, and I've never been a 9-to-5 person. I've never been a desk job person, and like I look at yesterday, and I had 2 clients, one in the morning, one in the afternoon. I got to walk my dogs in the morning. I got to take care of one of my clients. I got to go have a nice lunch with my mom out by the pool, go take care of my second client. So I worked for maybe like 5 hours for the day, but I made like $650. And that's just like a reference point of the potential. And I didn't even feel like work. Like it doesn't, it's not like, oh, I got to go back to the office.
Yeah.
Like
I get some so people, excited. That's a couple of days of work.
Right.
That could even be like almost a week of work for
Absolutely.
someone.
Oh, at my old job at the spa, that would be like a week.
A week of work, and you're doing that in 5 hours.
Yeah.
So
and it's so rewarding. Like, oh my God, when they like smile and they're like, I love my brow. Like that's the best part.
Yeah. You know?
It's so fulfilling.
It is. Oh my gosh, yes. There's nothing like it. Okay, awesome. So you're about 3 months in. You are definitely making more per hour than ever before.
Oh, yeah.
So that's amazing. Yeah. And it's only the beginning.
It's only the beginning.
You're only just, you are just
I'm at mile 1 of the Boston Marathon.
Yes, like just starting. Like literally, I've been open for 2.5 months and you are on your way. Mm-hmm. And so if you could give a piece of advice to someone who might be in the beginning of their journey, what would you say?
Don't give up. There's going to be the highs and lows. There's going to be the moments of frustration. There's going to definitely be like self-doubt and questioning yourself. And I can almost guarantee to 100% that you are in a comparison game with the market that's out there, and where they are on their journey is, they are 3 miles, 4 miles, 5 miles down the road, and you'll get there if you just stay with it. Mm-hmm. So stay with it, practice, network, just be a part of your local community. It is a thing that people are only going to drive so far to you. So just take that into consideration, whether it be 5 miles, 10 miles, 25 miles. Start at home, mm-hmm. and your circus, your circle will grow. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Uh-huh. You just have to be somebody who's genuine, who really cares about your clients, and go into it with like a serving mindset. Like you are serving your clients. You're giving them, beautiful brows, confidence, whatever it is, like they're putting a lot of trust in you. So, mm-hmm. Just cater to your clients. Don't squeeze people in. Don't try to rush things. Just mm-hmm. take your time. Trust the whole process, from the brows to the business to the learning.
Trust the process.
Trust the process.
Yeah, trust the process. Yeah. Don't give up. Yeah, I like that. Those are good takeaways. Trust the process. Don't give up. Be genuine, have a service mindset, start at home with your community, mm-hmm. like be a member of your community. I think that a lot of people are not doing that nowadays because everyone's so attached to the phone and so attached. And yeah, I would say Facebook groups are amazing. That's a great place that you can connect with your community. Mm-hmm. And it's better than trying to network with random strangers on Instagram or just posting on your Facebook, on your personal Facebook. So that's good, because the new community is Facebook groups. It
really is, but you have to remember too, like you're working on people, so this is an in-person business. So also get out there in person, and you never know who you're going to run into at the post office or at a restaurant.
Leave your house.
Like, yeah, leave your house. So, yeah, do not hide behind the screen.
Yeah.
And wait for people to, come to you. Like, go make it happen.
And when you're just genuinely meeting people, like, that's what you need to do. You don't have to think, like, I'm trying to sell them this.
Yeah.
Just meet people.
Just meet people.
Yeah, just meet people.
Just have a good old conversation in person.
That's it. That's all you need to do. And it will all fall into place because you're going to start to nurture those relationships or learn their name.
Yeah,
and then
what they do.
Yeah, that's it. And that's it. Yeah. That could be the first conversation. And then that's it.
Yeah, and share your personal information because, if they follow you, it might be 6 months down the line. But you never know. Like, they might be watching what you're doing. And
they do. Oh, my gosh. People have
out.
watched me for years before they finally book.
Yep.
Sometimes some people tell me, I've been watching you since the beginning. Like, 3, 4, 5 years later, then they decide to do it.
Yeah.
So no communication that's had with a human being is lost. Yeah. It's all good. All of it is good.
Yeah. As long as you're sending good energy, it's going to come back to you. Yeah.
Definitely. 100%. And without having any ulterior motive, just to talk, just to meet people.
Yeah. Just be curious.
Yeah, exactly.
Curious and care.
Yeah,
that's what I say.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, good. So now you're seeing a couple clients a week, and where do you see your future? What do you want to do? Where do you see this going?
Yeah, so I'm just at the beginning with my skin studio not even being open. My next, I would say 2 to 3 years will be running both of these. It's one business, it's 2 locations. And kind of continuing on that path with low overhead. You really want to keep, your costs low while you're first starting out and to grow a clientele. So in 3 years, I am hoping to then find a space that I can do both in one. So, two rooms essentially is what I would need.
Under one roof.
Under one roof, exactly, with some street signage. And to have a space that's my own where I might not necessarily be sharing it with other people. I can kind of design my entire week schedule to what works for me.
Yeah.
And from there, I love to share just about like how my clients feel too. So I just kind of hope to create this space in my local community where people feel comfortable with, they love to come to, they love to refer people to, and I don't really see myself having necessarily employees or whatnot. I kind of like to do things myself and just be like a one-man show. I think it's less work that way, but things might change. I don't know. I just want to design like a space that can like women leave feeling good and they feel confident and they feel like it's a safe space and it's like a little Zen sanctuary.
I love that. I love that. So that's kind of like your longer term sort of 2 to 3 year plan.
Yes.
In the meantime, you're going to work what you have.
Yes.
Right?
Hustle and work with what I got and build
once
the
you're
clients.
busting it, once you're like, okay, this is not working anymore because it's outgrown this, then you make the move.
Yes.
Right? A lot of people make premature moves, and you want to be
them.
careful with this. I'm not saying don't venture out, don't take risks. I am all about taking risks. No risk, no reward.
But strategic.
You
gotta be strategic.
You have to be strategic about things.
Yes.
Once you totally outgrow something, then you know when it's time. You don't have to think about, is it time to go or is it not time to go? If you're thinking about that, it's probably not time. But I do believe in taking risks. I do think that you'll know, and you want to, when you're like fully booked and you're like, okay, I've made back my investment, I am making money. I need to grow.
Yes.
Like I have
What's
to.
next?
I have to do this because if not, then you're staying stagnant. So, but you'll know when that time, and it could happen sooner than you think.
Yes.
Sometimes things happen sooner than what we think.
Yeah.
Because if you put your head down and you just work at it, you just never know.
Yeah.
The timeline. But it's good that you already have the thought in your mind, and it's something to work toward.
Exactly. And 1 year leases at both places, so that's a good marker of like when's it time to reevaluate and just look at what's going on, what's happening on a weekly basis, a monthly basis. What are my numbers at? I have a very good, spreadsheet of my numbers. I do also have a business money coach, and it's just somebody as a reference point to bounce things off of for peace of mind. And so, you got to know your numbers, and then, you can go from there too.
Yeah. Amazing. Very good, Bree. Well, is there anything else that you want to share with anyone, any of the viewers, before we close out and parting thoughts?
I highly recommend Brow Aesthetics. And if you're out there and you are looking at permanent makeup courses, look into what your towns are looking for, what are their requirements. Use your references, look at clients, look at other students, and don't hesitate to, stalk some Instagram pages and reach out, because talking to people, I think is so beneficial. But I recommend Brow Aesthetics over and over again.
Thank you.
And I've sent people in your direction because it is a course that I think there's a lot of people in the world that are really good with what they do, and they have a lot of skills, but they might not necessarily be a good coach or educator, and that is really the deciding factor. So there's a lot of great permanent makeup artists out there, but it doesn't make them a good educator, and Brow Aesthetics kind of encompasses all of that.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. I'm so happy that we carved out the time to do this.
Oh, yeah, this has been a blast.
Yeah, it's been really, really good. As you continue forward, I wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you.
I want you to keep growing and keep your positive mindset, which is already built in. So it's not, it's not hard for you to do that.
It's easier too when you're doing something you love. Definitely.
Yes, definitely.
But it definitely is a positive mindset.
Yeah, you have the positive mindset. You're willing to put in the work.
Yes.
Which is key. You have to be willing, and you're not letting any negativity creep in. And that's super important, because a lot of this stuff is mindset.
It is.
Having the right mindset going in, really believing in yourself and knowing that you can do it, and just simply look to the left and right. Other people are doing it. Why can't you? Right?
Yeah.
So I always look at things that way too. I'm like, no, I can do this.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Why not?
Exactly. You can.
Yeah.
And that's the bottom line.
Yeah.
If you see that someone else is doing it and they've succeeded, it only shows us that it's possible. That's all. That's all. That's all it shows us, that it's possible. And usually when people are having a hard time, it's because they fall into, the comparison thing. But I always look at it like, hey, you know what? We're humans. You're going to compare yourself here and there. Yeah. We're human.
Yeah.
This happens.
That's how the mind works.
It is. But instead of looking at something and saying, wow, I wish I could do that, what we should be saying is just like,
how can I do
that? And also, so looking at, wow, it's just showing you that it's possible. That's it. That's all that I look at. Whenever I look at someone on social media, we all follow amazing things on social media, and it shows you that it's possible, but don't allow that to kind of kill the spirit where it's too much comparison. So I'm really glad to hear that you have your mindset in the right place.
Thank you.
Because you do. So I know that you're going to do amazing things, and I wish you nothing but the best.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.